Hey friends, my name is George Gianaris. I'm a chef of 36 years, and if you're here, it's because you like to eat healthy, save money, and cook like a pro. In part one of this video, I had the pleasure of introducing you to Austin Johnson. His company is one of the largest distributors of high-end meats on the East Coast of the United States. There's going to be a link to that video in the top right-hand corner at the end of this video. Austin and I talked about the differences between American and Japanese Wagyu and addressed many questions that most people have about Wagyu. Today I'm going to cook 2 Wagyu steaks. I'm also going to talk about what you should be looking for when you're purchasing Wagyu and what is the healthiest beef for you to eat. So when you're buying American Wagyu, how much it costs is directly correlated to the grading or the type of marbling and the quantity of marbling in the meat. And as we discussed in part 1, the grading system for American Wagyu is on a scale from 3 to 10 plus. Now, not all Wagyu beef is graded, primarily anything that will be served as a steak. That can include brisket, blade steak, flat iron, and of course ribeye, strip steak, tenderloin. Sometimes they even grade the inside round. I purchased a case of inside round that comes from pure blood Kobe Wagyu. In a future video, I'm gonna make biltong with that beef, which is a way of curing the beef that was actually invented by the indigenous people in South Africa. When you're buying Wagyu, talk to your local butcher and ask him what grade of Wagyu you're getting. What we didn't get into too heavily in the last video was which type of beef is good for your health. We did talk about how Wagyu beef is better than traditional beef because it contains a significant amount more of monounsaturated fats. But the healthiest Wagyu is 100% grass-fed. And as Austin mentioned, this is very hard to find. Not only does it contain a high amount of monounsaturated fats, it also contains a significant amount of omega-3 fatty acids and CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. The second best American Wagyu that you can get is organic American Wagyu. It's also very, very hard to find, but I've had discussions about this with Austin, and he tells me that once we get past this difficult supply chain issue that we're having in this country right now, he's gonna do all that he can to make this organic meat available to the general public. That's one thing I really love about Austin. He's just as concerned about his health as I am. And in a world where the larger the company is, the more they throw health by the wayside, this is very refreshing to me. The third best, healthiest type of American beef is organic grass-fed, followed by organic grass-fed beef that is finished with grain, then full bloodline Wagyu, and F1 Wagyu, which is bred with Angus. If you could find beef that has this label on it, buy it. Any manufacturer of meat, including pork and poultry, that has the label never ever on its package means that it never ever uses hormones or antibiotics in their livestock. And this can be kind of confusing because even though a company can claim that their product is antibiotic free, they can make that claim and still give antibiotics to their livestock legally up to a certain age. Today I'm going to simply cook 2 steaks, American and Japanese Wagyu, in a carbon steel pan. Now you can cook it sous vide, and I could show you how to do that, but there's so many videos out there, it would almost be like beating a dead horse. What I will show you how to do is cook a perfect steak every single time without sous vide. These 2 steaks cost the same. This is Washugyu F1 American Wagyu. When I'm cooking steaks of this quality, or any steaks for that matter, I can't even imagine doing it without a thermometer and a probe. When you're heating your skillet to cook up a steak, you need to make sure that the surface temperature of the skillet is below 475 degrees Fahrenheit or 246 degrees Celsius. Otherwise the fat will ignite and you'll have either a horrible grease fire or nasty flare-ups. If the skillet you're using has a shiny reflective surface, you can't accurately use an infrared thermometer, so I use this. It's the Pro Surface Thermopen from Thermoworks. Links to all of these thermometers are listed in the description below. For me, a perfect steak is medium rare. Since it's going to continue to cook a little while it rests, I like to cook my steak to 123 degrees Fahrenheit or 50 degrees Celsius. In the original video that I did about Wagyu steak, I got some negative comments about the fact that I barbecued the Wagyu, and traditionally Wagyu's cooked on a skillet, but I like the flavor of barbecued meat, so I decided to do it that way. And if you want to find out how to barbecue meat without any flare-ups, there's a link to that video. It's going to appear in the top corner here at the end of this video. I suggest you watch that. I'm gonna go with the American Wagyu first. This is like a dry-aged steak, even though it's not dry-aged. The Wagyu fat has such a distinct flavor. It's absolutely delicious. It's kind of creamy. Let's try the Japanese. The Japanese is even more tender than the American Wagyu. It's so loaded with fat though, that if I would eat that little piece, that would be more than enough. It's such a treat, such a delicacy. You don't even need to chew it. It's so delicious. I hope you learned something here today. Please leave a comment down below. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do that. Hit that like button if you like this video. I'll see you again soon.